What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It's your favorite host in the world, in the whole wide world, Terrence.
Really?
Yeah,
well,
right?
First off, you didn't start it off. Shall I say it?
What?
Come on in, y'all. Welcome to
You're
Rooted in
repeating it
Progress.
because you like it, and it's okay to admit that, Terrence.
I don't know about that. I think I'm stuck with you, right?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
you are.
so.
What's up, everybody? It's your host, Deanne King, for Terrence Middlebrooks. We are back with another episode of Rooted in Progress. How you doing today?
It's your favorite co-host, Terrence Middlebrooks. I'm doing great, Deanne. How are you?
Hey, I can't complain. Mainly because, one, I'm super excited about our guests.
As always.
Well, if I wasn't excited, should they be on the show? Let's think about it.
Of course, yeah.
If I'm not excited to have them on the show, why are they here?
I'm just saying,
kidding.
you're always excited.
I am.
About
I try to
everything.
be. Well, that's the life that I live. Nothing but joy and happiness and love for the most part until somebody pisses me off.
Yes.
Anywho, we are continuing our conversation about Sinners. Did you, by the way, go and watch it again?
I did. We watched
You
it
did?
twice. I did. So
I did it. I fell through.
Really?
Yeah.
You said that was our homework.
I
Remember?
know. I know.
See, that's good. She's so excited our guests are here. That our guest on our last episode of Sinners,
Imani.
yes, gave us homework. Said go back and watch it. Take
She
notes.
did.
And you didn't do it.
I didn't, but you did. You did it for me. So that's all that
Yes.
matters.
Yeah.
We're continuing the conversation about Sinners. It continues to make an impact, grossing over $280 million worldwide by a black man. We love to see it. We love to see it. And we also love to see this guy coming from Nashville, Tennessee. Let's welcome actor, medical background, Percy Bell, but he was the body double of Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
My.
Yeah.
What a blessing. You know?
Well, exactly. Like let's just think about that for a minute. Body double.
Of Michael B.
Welcome,
That's
Percy.
huge. Welcome, Percy,
Yeah.
to Rooted in Progress. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you all for having me. For sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I just want to get straight into to get in this role. How did this even happen?
It was kind of a traditional, sort of non-traditional way. So I actually got it through a direct submit. It wasn't even through my agent. There's a platform called Actors Access in which all acting roles typically get posted, and casting directors post these acting roles, and your agencies submit you for these roles, and actors themselves also have access to this platform. So I always have the perspective that if I'm working just as hard as my agent, I can increase the possibility of me landing some good roles. So every day I submit, and one day I happened to see a role that said body double / twin double, and it just had untitled feature film. And it also has specific physical measurements, height, weight, shoe size, pant size. And I was like, you know what? That's me to the T, same exact size.
Wow.
So I submitted forward, ended up getting a reply back from the casting director. And from that, I received the audition request, submitted my audition. They liked it, went out for a chemistry read, did a couple of chemistry reads, and then pretty soon I actually booked the role.
Wow.
At what point did you realize that it was for Michael B. Jordan? And
Man,
what was your reaction? Real talk.
Well, I received the audition request as I was traveling to New York for work. So I had a connection in Atlanta. So I had to fill out an NDA. I signed the NDA, but once I signed the NDA, I was just reading on different things, and I saw the production company. So I looked at the production company, which is Proximity. Okay. So once I saw the production company, of course, I did my research, and I was like, okay, this is something with Ryan Coogler involved. So eventually, once I got done with that, I submitted my audition, and then the casting director got back to me, and she was like, you know what, we like your audition, so now I can kind of tell you what it's about. So she told me everything. She told me who was involved, and I was like, okay, cool. Michael B. Ryan Coogler, okay.
You were that cool.
That's it?
You were that cool.
Yeah.
Percy, please. I would have fell out in that airport. Stop playing with me.
No. So I had this discussion with some friends the other day, and I'm a really laid back person, so my excitement isn't always really outwardly protected. Inside, I was like, "Oh, this is an amazing opportunity." But for myself, I didn't jump for joy or anything like that. But inside, it was like, "Okay, cool. This is like a crazy opportunity." But Was I excited? Absolutely. Did I jump for joy or project it outwardly? I did, because in this film industry, it's you receive so much rejection. So things don't really happen until they happen. And what
Right.
I mean by that is you can get a role, audition for a role or anything like that. You can even book a role. But until you actually film it and it's completed, it never took
Yeah.
place. There
So
are plenty of projects
That's
I've
real.
done that haven't even seen the light of day. So it's like, did they happen?
Yeah. So in other words, when you found out who and who's producing it, director, all that, knew what the role was, you didn't quite get excited because, like you just said, there's still a strong possibility that you could not land this role, correct?
Yeah, because the odds are so slim. You got to think that here I am, this actor in Nashville, or from Nashville, and then there's this huge role in LA. So as an actor, you always think about visually. I know I do. How many other actors could potentially be in that room? So this actually happens. Like, you can go to a callback, and outside of the callback, you may have 20, 30 different actors. So it's like the chances of you booking this role is very slim. And in order for you to book a role, everything has to be perfect. Like, it has to be God's timing, and it has to be perfect.
That's good. I think, was there ever a moment, because I'm sure physicality played a role too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Period. So when you realize it's Michael B, and you look and you see how the world reacts to this fine man, does that do something to you internally? Like, I'm playing his double?
I guess kind of, sort of, it does. I mean, as by default, of course, I'm going to get some, quote unquote, gassed up.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Lee Jordan's body double.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely does, for sure.
Absolutely. I think it's really interesting when you see a double, because we've actually tried to pick apart when you might have been on screen and when we could technically physically see you. So take us through that process of when you were technically on screen versus when you weren't on screen.
So anytime there was any type of twin interaction, I was definitely involved. Now, it's difficult also for me to kind of tell exactly when I was included in the edit or not.
Okay.
Because we did both sides. So at any time you see Smoke and Stack, I was doing both Smoke and Stack along with Mike. So one giveaway you can kind of look at sometimes is the hand size. So my hands are a little bit bigger than Mike.
That's good.
And also, we have certain mannerisms and certain movement patterns that you can kind of distinguish between the two. Even though I tried to replicate his, I was actually talking to one of my fellow castmates last night, and he was like, "Yeah, man, when I was watching the movie, I could tell exactly when it was you and when it was Mike and things of that nature." So you would have to look at the hands as well as some of the movement patterns and shoulders as well. So my shoulders are just like slightly broader than Mike's, but they did a really good job of concealing that. So for myself, it's even difficult in certain scenes to determine which one I was.
I really think I went back and when I watched it the second time, I was looking at more so the technical aspects of the movie, such as the body doubles, camera angles, all that. I could tell there was an obvious part of when you guys were standing in back of the truck after you just, I think you drove to that little wooded area where the truck was hidden.
Yeah.
And at the end, when you guys went to separate ways, when the twins went their separate ways, there was a scene. It was a little obvious to me, and I thought it felt like it was a little cheesy. However, I'm just saying, far as the two doubles, when you guys dapped it up, there was a behind shot of Michael B. Jordan's face, but there was that body there. That
so
I was
that
like,
was
okay,
Percy.
that was you, correct?
Yeah. I was on the trying to think. I was Smoke at that point.
Yeah, and so with that, I mean, everything was beautifully shot. I think it was beautifully choreographed. And at that point, like, I couldn't tell any other difference
Me either.
of scenes. Maybe the scene, well, I don't want to give the movie away for those that have watched it. And at this point, if you haven't watched it, go out and watch it.
Definitely check it out.
So if you hear a spoiler alert, that's on you.
Correct.
But the part when in the club, kind of what you're looking at right now, when you were holding or Michael B. Jordan was holding you, right? How did that scene go?
Oh,
both.
on the floor.
Yeah, on the floor.
It was both. So there was a lot of blood
Yeah.
where Stack was dying, and well, Stack was dead at that point. But yeah, that one was a pretty intense scene. It took a while to shoot that actually because you had to be so precise with every element of that. But yeah, we shot it one take where Mike was holding me, and then I was holding Mike. So different. When you saw his face on the floor, it was there. Those were my hands because obviously they couldn't replace it in that aspect. So when you saw his face, it was me he was holding, so to speak.
I'm mind blown.
How much of that was CG though?
In that specific scene, none of it
Okay.
was. So
Was it CG when we see? So like, how were the scenes when we saw Michael B. both times? Like it was his face. How was that? Was that CG?
Not all of it was CG, and you would definitely have to consult with the editors to figure out exactly which ones.
Okay.
And I can tell you this: there's a device called a Halo, and this Halo has several different dozens of cameras on it, and you place it on it. And what it's able to do is just take all of this, these photos, and get all of this information visually to where they can potentially paste his face over mine certain scenes. But also, you have certain things with this this techno dolly, which is this device they use to replicate the exact same movement for each specific scene. And with that, they're able to match the shots and kind of do like a little wipe over with the scene. So it was a combination of different things, some CGI, but also some machine learning and different things of that nature to where his face was kind of like on my body and all of those things. So it was a combination of a lot of different technical aspects to really make this come alive. And then also to make it seem so real to where even myself, it's difficult for me to determine.
Wow.
What was the interaction like when you met Michael B. for the first time?
Man, it was very positive, super cool. The first time we met was in LA at the chemistry read, and he had sort of the same energy that I had. So that felt refreshing because, like I said, he was open and positive and welcoming. So we were just chopping it up, taking photos and things for just body dimensions and talking about the project. He was giving me a rundown on his perspective of it. So it was a warm welcome. It was a positive interaction. It definitely felt like, I don't know, I want to speak for him, but it definitely felt like I was already in the door just by the verbiage and things of that nature. So it was a warm welcome for sure.
That's good. I mean, when you're meeting someone who, one, you're about to play, right? Within itself, but then is it safe to say like this was your breakout role? Is this the biggest role you've casted for in your career, in your acting career?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. This is the biggest project that I've been involved in for sure. I've had other roles in which you actually see my face. However, but this is just on a whole nother scale. This is in itself a cultural, one of those cultural gems that we'll be reflecting on back maybe in the future, 20, 30 years about this film. But this is definitely one of the biggest roles that I've been a part of in terms of longevity on set. This is the longest time that I've been on set continuously. As an actor, that's a blessing within itself to just spend this amount of time. So from April 2nd all the way through July 18th, I was on set. So having that amount of time on set, man, it was amazing to just be immersed in this level of talent and this level of creativity. Because as a creative, this is what you want. This is something that you dream about, of being in an environment to where if I could equate it to basketball, it's an all-star game for real.
Yeah.
Even not just considering the cast, but also everyone behind the camera. So at any point in time, anybody can put up 20.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes this project so amazing, so compelling, so relatable, and just over the top in a good way.
So you talked about you had to match his swag, basically. How did you prepare for that? Did you go back and watch a lot of his movies? But even though he's not playing Smoke, Stack, as a character in any other movies. How did you prepare to kind of become Michael B. Jordan? You know?
Yeah, I definitely went back and watched his projects, all of the Creeds, even Black Panther, and got an idea for his mannerisms. But funny thing is, this is how I actually, I guess, developed my love for acting. Growing up, I was always that friend or that person that would mimic other people. And when I would come around, everyone would be like, "Hey, Percy, do this person, do that person." And I would pick up on mannerisms, movement patterns, even vocal inflections really easy. And it's just something that I always did was just, just mimic people. So with him, it was the same sort of situation. Now, when we got to talking about Smoke and Stack, of course, you have to differentiate between the two and learn to kind of package two individuals together and be able to switch it on and switch it off between those two. But definitely watching him partake in his craft and seeing how he sort of went about his day, it was a learning curve initially, but I think I caught on to it pretty quickly.
Good for you.
Awesome.
You mentioned how this is like a cultural shift, and a cultural, like a moment for the culture.
Yeah.
I'll put it like that. Cause even like just conversations, right? Like you become a part of conversations where people are talking about Sinners, like, oh, did you watch Sinners? Like, oh, what was your takeaway? Or, oh, what was your thought? Or what messages did you receive? And there's such a variety, of takeaways, of messages as it relates to this film. So like, you being a part of it, what does this mean to you? What does this film mean to you? What does the role mean to you? And what does it mean to you on the level of like exception for how other people view it and how other people see this film?
Yeah, to me, it's created a new precedent for how we approach cinema. I think because this project is so loaded. It has so much flavor, so many ingredients into it. I could equate it to gumbo. There's not many people that do not like gumbo. Ironically, this was filmed in Louisiana, but you have so many different elements within this film that almost everyone can relate to it. And at the same time, it's educational, but also at the same time, it's so uplifting and sort of a feel good. We love stories being told through cinema in America. We love to kind of use our imagination, but at the same time, not be too far out of touch with it. So with this project, for me, it was not only an opportunity of a lifetime, but it was it was a roller coaster ride to really see exactly the possibilities and boundaries at which cinema can kind of extend, but at the same time, provide you with some educational things as well. This has sparked so many different conversations about what the true history of the American South is. Not many people knew the role the Asian population played in the South and Mississippi. Typically, when you talk about the South, you either think about white, black, and slavery and things of that nature, but you don't think about some of the Asians that were displaced and the role they played with sort of being the mediator between the whites and the blacks in the South, as well as just the story about blues music. So that in itself is a whole different world that that we can kind of dive into really deep, because this music has been the source of so many different genres that have branched out from it, and it's so rich in American culture.
Yeah, I had to go back and look up kind of the Asian, I guess you would say, participation during this movie. Didn't know that. I didn't know that at all, and what it meant. Yeah. I grew up in the South, and so only thing I've ever heard of was, of course, blacks and whites. But that's another nugget added to Ryan Coogler's credit of just being that instilled in history and really bringing that time of our past back to life. And educating everyone on that.
Even that conversation of like on Twitter or X, people were talking about, and some people did not want to see this film because they thought it was demonic. And I actually, after watching it, took offense to it. There was a young lady who I had this conversation with, like literally a couple of days ago, was like, it was so demonic. I'm like, pause. Did we watch the same movie? Like, there's no way we watched the same movie and you walked away feeling that way. I could see feeling that way going into the movie theater, but walking out, I don't. There were so many messages of religion in this film that I really loved. And we talked about it with Imani, your castmate. She was on Rooted in Progress as well. And one of the biggest takeaways, there was a moment when after I saw the film and I walk out and me and my mom, we're talking to like this random man who was in the theater as well. And he was like, one of the biggest, the message that I'm walking away with is the devil can only impact you if you let him in. Cool. And I was like, my. Because it's so true. It's so true.
So being from a really small town that's so heavy on religion, I can kind of see exactly how she may have had that approach. So growing up, that was one of the things that I had to encounter. If it wasn't what the church said, it was something demonic. So I think with this film, you have to go into it with an open mind, right? You have to go into this film understanding that this is artistry, and of course the devil can enter in through artistry, but at the same time, he can only get in if you let him. Yeah. So with this, I think you just have to have an open mind about it. It's not you worshiping any type of demonic spirits or anything of that nature, but it's more so you participating in an artistic journey about the possibilities and the truths of what have been for a long time, and also the history of this country. But yeah, it's easy. I can understand how individuals will take that, but because the devil comes in so many different forms.
Well, I'll say that,
music, which I think that was also portrayed in the film as well.
Mainstream media, and if you had that mind, you can have that mindset with any and everything today. Any and everything restaurant you walk in. So I want to backtrack a little bit and let's talk about Percy Bell and how Percy Bell got to this point in his career.
I was just about to say, because you brought up the small town. Yeah. And I kid you not, on my paper, it says Epps, Louisiana. Where's that? What is that? What is a Epps?
Epps, Louisiana. It's northeast Louisiana. So I'm about 30 minutes from the Mississippi border and 30 minutes from the Arkansas border. So northeast Louisiana. It's a very small town. Only has a population of about 300 for the longest time.
300 people?
300 people.
Oh,
so you probably had more people in your graduating class than I had in my entire town.
You probably related to everybody in town, right?
A good bit of them, for sure.
How was that?
Man, growing up in a small town, it was, to me, I thought it was the best thing that could have happened to me, because you grow up with not knowing about all these different things that you may think you need. So all you have is the essentials. You just have all of the essentials. And you just focus on working hard and doing what you're supposed to do. And as a result, I think that builds a foundation for this specific craft and acting, because you don't have the spotlight. So as a result, you don't need the spotlight. You never crave the spotlight or anything like that. So I think that's why I'm so laid back and like to be out of the way, because growing up, that's all we had to do. We just had to focus on what we could focus on and stay out of the way and just make sure we made some progress. So growing up in that small town was really good. You got to do a lot of different things early. I remember driving my mom's car to the store when I was like 12 and 13 to go get things and come back to the house.
It took you 4 minutes to get to the store, huh?
2. Yeah. So, and then like I had all my cousins and everything around. So you got to have a lot of family time. You got to do a lot of different things, spend a lot of time outdoors with family, and you always had cookouts. So growing up in a small town, you really didn't have too much to worry about. You got to be kids. You got to, you really got to be kids, and you really got to grow up. But at the same time, you had this community. So in a sense, the spotlight was on you, because if you did something, it would get back to your parents, and everybody knew. So in a sense, everybody is famous because news travels so fast, especially back then. So
I know.
It was a good grow up.
I just know Epps is so proud of you. Yeah. I could only imagine.
Is there a street named after you there already?
No, but there is a Bell Street there. There isn't a Percy Street, but there is a
Okay.
Bell Street. But yeah, definitely I get a lot of love from my community.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I think I've reached this level of success, because I've always gotten love from the community. Everyone's always encouraged me, pushed me forward. I mean, if I had some haters, I don't know who they were, which is a good thing. But yeah, I've always had some community love, and that's really why I was able to reach this point. Not only from my parents, I have amazing parents, but also this community that I'm a part of. They've always supported me in everything that I've done, and that's been really important for me to reach this level of success.
Well, let's talk about how did you ended up how you ended up in acting. Like, what was that road?
You
what
went
does that
through
road
some
look
things.
like? Yeah,
because you went to college, Nickel State. That's where you went undergrad. Okay.
Nickel State. Yeah, Nickel State.
Did you play
University.
ball there?
No.
Okay.
Wait, I gotta stop you.
What's up?
Is that where you pledged? You're an Alpha.
I am Alpha, Kappa Mu, spring 2010.
Okay, from Nickel State.
Nickel State.
Okay,
sure.
What's up, fam? I'm in a K.
Okay. So,
but I'm sorry, I had to interrupt you. But yes, go ahead.
no, it's all love. It's all love. But yeah, acting. Always wanted to be an actor. I just didn't know how to get into it. And being from a small town, I never interacted with anybody who said that they followed their dream. And I always had this feeling in my gut that my purpose was bigger than where I was from. And along with that, I remember in 6th grade, I did this activity, this journal activity, and the teacher asked us what we would like to do when we grew up. And I said, I want to be in a movie. And at that point, I kind of dismissed it or kind of put it in the back of my mind unconsciously. But as time went on, again, as I said, I used to mimic people a lot. So I think that's really where it came in and started to crystallize. And then also in high school, I had this amazing teacher, Brady Cox. And instead of doing the typical English literature class, he actually let us read the Star Wars and Rocky scripts for English class.
Wow.
And it was at that point, I was like, you know what, the imagery that I'm seeing on these scripts and the visuality, the visual aspects that I get in my mind about reading these scripts and when I say these words, it really had a positive effect on me. But at the same time, I didn't know it was possible. I didn't know how to get into it. I had not been exposed to anybody who ever followed their dreams in any sort of capacity. So with that, I thought I was just going to work, go to school, be an athletic trainer, or something related to sports medicine. Because that's all I did growing up was just play sports. So upon getting to Nichols, I did the sports medicine thing, specifically athletic training. And then, of course, along with that, I got to spend some time as a intern athletic training with the New Orleans Saints. And while doing this, it was a blessing because it allowed me to get exposed to what I thought I wanted to do so early on, to where I identified that it's actually not something that I wanted to do, because it didn't provide me any opportunity to quote unquote chase my dream if that's what I wanted to do. So upon graduating Nichols, I got ready to head up to Murfreesboro for graduate school because I needed to just take some time to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. So to come up and get my master's in exercise science, I figured that would give me 2 years or a year and a half to really brainstorm on what I could do with the next step in my life. And upon making this 7-hour drive, I'm just listening to my music, thinking, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna find me an acting class. So as soon as I got to Tennessee, I found me an acting class with a local acting studio. Started taking those classes, went to a casting director workshop with Regina Moore, who looked out for me. She introduced me to my agent, who I'm still with today. And then from that, it's just been a snowball effect ever since then.
That's a blessing. Yeah. You reached out on faith, for real.
Yeah.
For real. Because this business is tough.
It is. And again, coming from that small town, not having to have the spotlight, again, having, in a sense, I had low expectations. So it's not like I for the possibility of becoming an actor, because I didn't think it was possible. So as a result, I think that kind of helped me in a sense, because I didn't jump out here and like, you know what, I'm going to get famous. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to take an acting class. I'll give me a role or something, and then we'll figure out then. So as things started to kind of grow, my expectations increased, and it's just been a compounding effect ever since. So I've been building, I've been putting in the work, this is definitely a major milestone, but there's still plenty more to go. But I
Of
always say
course.
you only need one yes. And with this opportunity, I got one of those yeses that I think could help propel me to the future.
So, looking back at your career, like as an actor, how tough or how stressful is it? Because you never know when that next gig is going to come. How often are you out here searching and reaching out, networking? Is it pretty exhausting?
It can be. You go through waves. I
Yeah.
look at it as waves. It's peaks and valleys.
Mm-hmm.
There are going to be times you're going to feel every emotion. Like Nipsey Hussle said, you're going to feel every single emotion. And that's part of acting within itself, because you never know which role you may play. You may never
Right.
know which character you may have to portray and their background. So you need to feel all of those emotions, because that's filling your acting cup up. So as you go throughout this career, there are going to be disappointments. You get ghosted a lot, quite a bit. So when you audition for a role, 9 times out of 10, you won't even hear back from the casting director.
Oh, that
That's
would
your
hurt my
rejection.
soul.
That's your rejection. So the average actor probably receives at least 50 no's a year. And the average person probably can take 2
5.
no's,
Yeah,
5
2 of them,
no's,
exactly.
or
Me.
whenever. So
Me.
definitely
I
feel
don't take rejection well.
Yeah.
That's why I don't shoot no shot. Nope.
Yeah, you miss every shot you don't take, right? So you definitely have to surround yourself with great people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be grounded. You have to know who you are. You have to be confident in all the things that you can do, because that rejection doesn't define you, not the bit. In acting, things have to be so perfect in order for you to book a role. And what I mean by that is there's only about 20% that you can control. The 20% that you can control is by being prepared, being on time, having good material, and really practicing your craft. Outside of that 80%, that's going to depend on if whoever's casting for this role, if they push you forward, maybe their emotions for that day, if they have a good relationship with your agency, if the producers on this project haven't already pitched someone else for the role and they're just having to audition the
Just
rest
for the-
of these actors in order
Sounds like corporate America. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah. I'm like
Well,
hearing so many similarities, even just with our business
Right.
in TV, like, because it's so subjective, right? So whereas like in other like corporate America jobs, maybe you just qualify on paper, right? But here in our business, my boss might not care that my nails are long and that I can wear my natural hair and that I change up my color and all those other things. But then I apply for another job and then they just don't like the way I look.
Yeah, that can be a big part of it, especially in film and cinema, because
Right.
we're depicting certain types of people. So and as much as we hate it, you have to look a certain way for certain types of roles.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so as a result, that's going to limit your opportunities. But I will say what helps me is that I'm always trying to create with my creative tribe. So that helps me to take away my focus. Then I still work as well. So with
I was
that,
gonna
I'm able
ask that. You balance. What else do you do?
Yeah, so I'm an ergonomic consultant. Ergonomics is the study of how work fits the person. So with me, I'll have to go to various different clients and I'll have to identify any specific risk related in their or existing in their specific workspace, whether it's an office space, an industrial setting, and things like that. So if someone's lifting something, how many times they're lifting it, how heavy that thing should be that they're having to lift, maybe 10 times per minute. With that, also with office ergonomics, I'll have to determine exactly if a keyboard is appropriate for someone, how high that keyboard is, or how high that desk is, if the chairs are proper fit. So with that, I'm able to leverage all of that athletic training knowledge
Yeah.
to
Right.
kind of still finance the dream when there are not any acting roles coming in. But at the same time, it's a healthy distraction in a sense, because I'm not just sitting around all day twiddling my thumbs thinking about when's the next acting role or next audition going to come in. This helps to kind of fill that time. It's a healthy distraction, but at the same time, it helps me to get some of that fill my acting cup as well, because I interact with so many different people. And
Yeah.
there's oftentimes I'll interact with somebody and I'll just sit there and look at them while they're talking. And I'm like, you know what? This is an interesting person.
Yeah.
Let me take a couple of notes. Let me take a couple of those characteristics and mannerisms, and let me stow those away. So
Right. You pay attention to hand gestures, eye movement, all that type
Yeah,
stuff,
all the
correct?
things.
yeah, vocal cadence, yeah, all of that.
So since the movie, let's talk about going forward. Since the movie, like how has the business been for you? Again, this is a huge platform for you. I mean, are casting directors ringing your phone off the hook, or have you applied for anything else, or
Oh, it's
No,
the
no, I
laugh for
wish.
me.
what's
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I wish. No, the casting directors haven't been ringing my phone off the hook or
Yet?
going off, or anything yet. But I have a feeling that it's going to come.
Right.
But if it doesn't come, I still have the mindset, even before all of this came about, that in order for me to have that breakthrough role, that true breakthrough role, I'm going to have to create that for myself. So me and my team, we've written a couple of different things that we'll be kicking out this year. So those are all roles that I see myself being in on a much larger scale. And I think once I start to kick those out, and individuals, specifically casting directors and producers, once they see me in those roles, I think they'll really get some buy-in to the range and skill that I have from an acting standpoint. But if they want to come blow me up and reach out to me, I'm welcoming all opportunities.
Hit me up. Hit me
Is this
up.
how most actors kind of slide into that director producer role? Is because they want to make a path for themselves?
Yeah, I think so. I think honestly, I think that's the most viable way for an actor to kind of make a living. I don't. I think it's very difficult to be a one sort of a
Kind of like a solo talent, just an
yeah.
actor, or
I think you have to have multiple. You have to be multifaceted in
right,
this industry to really have sustainability. So think about Mike. So Mike doesn't only act; he also produces.
Deuces, yeah.
right,
He has a production company. He also has other things that he's working on in terms of like marketing. Yes, Moss. He's also tied in with the soccer slash football club.
You're
So
right.
you have to really diversify yourself in all the skills and things that you can do, and in turn, that increases your marketability, and then that increases your followers, and then as a result, when you do put out a film such as like Sinners and things like that, more people are more apt to kind of go support that. So
Yeah.
within this business, you definitely have to have various different skills and not just focus solely on acting. With me, that's definitely the path that I'm traveling down. I don't only want to be an actor. I want to create opportunities for myself. I want to produce projects as well. So when I finally do produce a project, I know for sure I have a role in it because I produced it.
There you go. I wanna because I feel like you're talking about the struggles that actors face in Hollywood in general, but it's a whole nother level when you're talking about a black actor. And I read this article that was talking about typecasting and
Mhm.
how oftentimes black actors are put into this box and you're forced into certain roles, whether it be like a criminal or whether it be like a sidekick, or whether it be like comedic relief or something like that. Do you feel that way? Do you see that within the business?
Um, I myself, I've gotten quite a few auditions for like the guy next door type of role. However, I think it can be a gift and a curse because we have to put in our reps. We have to make sure that we shoot those shots, so to speak.
Yeah.
Think about Steph Curry. Um, on a really really good day, he can get a 40% shooting percentage. And if I'm shooting 100 shots, I only make 40 of those. So think about all of those opportunities that he must still complete in order to find that certain level of success. So when we talk about typecasting, I say that to say that it can be a gift and a curse because it can give you an opportunity to get those reps in. You know what I mean? Such as like a cop role. We've seen
Yeah.
plenty of actors who kind of only stay in that cop role
yeah,
or some type of specific role. But in time, I think as an actor, you have to understand exactly what that's doing for you and what that's preparing you for. So you master one thing, and then you can potentially move into the other. So you have to have some sort of discernment to understand exactly when you squeeze all you can out of this specific limit. So when it comes to typecasting, it can be a gift and it can be a curse. Some people don't escape it, but I think it can be a really good opportunity in the beginning, because all you want to do as an actor beginning out, you want to have as much work as possible, specifically in front of the camera. You really want to be able to show as much range and as much flexibility as you can. And if you don't get those opportunities, you can't do it. So if you're typecast for something, I think you should just look at it from an optimistic standpoint that this is an opportunity. I should just try to squeeze as much of this out of it as possible. But at the same time, always look to progress forward.
That's great, man. Yeah, because
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I remember just movies growing up. There's always that same gangster character or actor that played that role in several different movies. But I guess it's all about just
Terrence Howard.
He's had a couple. He's had a couple roles. Variety
Terrence
of
Howard
roles.
is always the man beater. He always the evil man. He always the criminal.
Yeah.
He just looked that way.
I think I remember Jamie Foxx saying something like he was careful on what roles he chose because he didn't want to be typecasted for a certain character.
Yeah.
So,
Loretta Devine, she's almost always someone's mother, and she embodies just every role.
Yeah.
So, those opportunities, and she's done other things outside of that, but I think that's maybe like her wheelhouse that she does really, really well. Sometimes it can be a compliment. They can just say that you're doing something really well. I think some of the best acting roles and individuals in those roles, they're really close to who they are naturally as a person. So it's really difficult to take someone who grew up in a really nice neighborhood. Terrence, it's going to be really difficult to take somebody who grew up in Brentwood and take them and put them on a set of power.
Right.
On the set of power and really flourish.
Right.
Like, as much as we hate it, some of the best acting comes from those roles, which are really close to who we really are as a person.
Exactly.
So that's when authenticity really comes out, and we love that on the screen. So it can, it can be a gift and a curse.
And a curse for sure. What's your dream role? What are we aiming for here?
Man,
somebody playing a body double for Percy Bell.
Come on, Terrence.
Let's go.
My ultimate goal is to be an in-demand actor. And what I mean by that is I want to get to a point where I've proven myself. I've developed enough acting pedigree to where casting directors, producers, and everyone, they come and seek me out.
Yeah.
And they're calling you.
I'm not saying I don't want to audition, but I would love to get to a point where maybe my schedule gets oversaturated or really saturated with me having to turn down roles because there are just so many opportunities on the table.
That's great, man.
It's coming.
Folks.
I feel it. You're so talented.
Yes.
And you really are just like genuine and humble and just at your core. And so only good things will come your way. I'm super excited to watch your journey.
And I appreciate that.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Yes, it's coming.
Folks, if you haven't went out and saw the movie Sinners, it's
what are you
pathetic.
doing?
Go see it. Still in theaters today. Don't be that cheap and say, I'm going to wait till it come out on TV.
Oh.
No, so just go buy your ticket this weekend. Memorial Day weekend is coming up, long weekend. So take them out. Yeah.
Take your in. Go see it. Go check it out. It's a cultural phenomenon. It's one of them ones. It's one of them ones.
It is. 100%.
Percy, how can people support and follow you?
They can follow me at Instagram, on Instagram at Percy_Bell. That's where all of my activity is on Instagram. So just follow me on there. I'll be posting things. I'm getting better about posting. I really haven't done that much in the past.
Yeah.
Starting to work it out. So you'll be seeing more about the projects that I'm working on with me and my team. And that's that. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing the projects.
Yes.
And do you model?
I started out modeling, but I do commercials.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I never looked at myself as being a model because I kind of fall in that on the cusp. I'm 5'11", not 6 feet. So typically 6 feet and above for males are typically your model range. So I really don't fall. And then I think I'm a little on the muscular side versus being
Listen, everybody's a model these days.
Right.
Okay. You don't have to listen to that.
You can have commercial modeling, and then you also have fashion modeling.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Percy Bell for all my Nashville friends that are listening. Percy's around the corner. He's down the street. Literally.
Please do not go knock on his door.
Yes, don't knock on his door. But if you see him out or if you see anything that headlines Percy Bell, they're in the city of Nashville. Please go out and support this talented brother. So we want to have him back when he gets ready to make his movie premiere.
Yeah, don't forget about
his own movie premiere.
Okay?
So red carpet and all that. So yeah,
we'll make it happen. Absolutely.
Percy, thanks for hanging with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you,
Percy.
Oh my gosh, I love his story, Terrence.
Yeah, that was fun, man. And to actually to hear his journey to where he is. I mean, working that close with an actor like Michael B. Jordan.
He's too humble for me. Because I'd be like, I'm the finest man on this earth. What would everybody else talk about? I'm Michael B.
It kind of put me in mind of back in the movie Bad Boys when Martin Lawrence had to portray Will Smith as Mike Lowry. He had to like correct it. I'm Mike Lowry. I'm Mike Lowry. So I'm sure Percy probably walked around there for a little bit. Hey yo, I'm Michael B. Jordan. I'm Michael B. Jordan. So,
hello.
But no, I didn't get not one sense of arrogance from this brother. This brother's humble. He's talented. If you haven't checked out the movie Sinners, what are you waiting on?
I'm about to call Ryan and tell him they need to put you on their marketing team.
Hey man, we need to get more of the actors and actresses on from the show on our show.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Yeah,
I'll work on it.
Get going. So.
All right. Well, make sure before y'all go see Sinners, follow us. And make sure you like and subscribe. We are on YouTube at Rooted in Progress, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Y'all know we're live every Thursday at 9:30 in the morning. Just download the WFLA app, or you could join via the WFLA Facebook page. We love to have you.
Yes,
in the
folks.
meantime, stay rooted.
Stay rooted, people. See you next time.